Hi, friends. I'm Miley, and welcome back to the Afterwards. Before I dive in, I want to give you a little bit of context. I have always been intuitive, but also extremely skeptical. I believe in God, but for most of my life, it was a loose belief. The kind where you pray when things are falling apart, and then you say thank you when they're not, and you go back to worrying about laundry and Target runs. Then my 9-year-old son died 11 days before his 10th birthday. He had brain cancer, and suddenly the world was split open in a way that I never asked for, and honestly, I never thought would happen. I didn't go searching for a spiritual awakening, it literally attacked me. It wasn't glamorous or mystical, it was actually extremely ugly and very raw. Since then, I have noticed certain things. There are messages, sensations, synchronicities, and coincidences that are too precise to be random. Do I believe in all of them? Half the time, I roll my own eyes before anyone else can. The other half, though, the ones that land in ways that I can't explain, those are the ones that keep me going. What I've learned since my son passed away is that when I am allowing myself to sit in self pity, in grief, depression, doing Netflix marathons and claw clips and the dirtiest sweatpants I own, there are no signs and I feel nothing, at least nothing good. But when I make even the smallest effort to live with gratitude, joy, not only do signs show up, they are amplified. And it's not because I'm special. Mediumship at its core means that you are meeting spirit in the middle. Our loved ones are in light. They are energy with God vibrating on the highest level. We are here dealing with all of this static and traffic in this energy dense planet. But when I make even the smallest effort, even just a smidge, the kind where you eat an orange so messy that it looks like a crime scene, if we lift ourselves even a little bit, they will meet us halfway. I'll be real with you. The last couple of weeks, the last 2 months, I've been low, really low, disconnected, questioning everything. I even started to question if I was losing my actual mind, if maybe none of this was real and I was just trying to comfort myself. Read anything that I've written or you've watched any of my previous content, then you know that I'm big on signs and I see them all the time from my son since the day he died. But I'm also a big skeptic. I am constantly asking for reassurance and confirmation because there's a piece of me that's just not fully convinced, but there's a knowing that I can't deny. Does that make sense to you? Maybe some of you feel like that too. Which is why yesterday I decided to run a little experiment. Nothing fancy, just me laying in my bed, trying to reconnect, asking for a specific sign to see if this is real or if I'm just making it up. I wanted to practice purposely inviting Kingston and my angels and my guides to step forward and offer me something tangible to verify that I'm not crazy. What happened after my experiment made even the skeptic in me stop and pay attention. So that's the story I'm going to tell you today. And hopefully, this story will either convince you, help you lean into the belief in what's possible after death, or or you won't and you'll think I'm batshit. And that'll be that. Here's what I know about spirit. It's been my experience that they don't usually talk in long, eloquent monologues. It's just short little pictures and small words. From the questions I've asked very well known, highly rated mediums, is that nobody's dead grandma is rehearsing Shakespeare on the other side. It's more like scraps, half sentences, flashes of images, sensations that hover in the shadows of your peripheral vision, thoughts that don't feel like yours because they land sideways, like somebody knocked on the back door of your mind instead of coming through the front. So yesterday I came home determined, like no excuses, no distractions, just me and the possibility of hearing from my son on the other side. I wanted to really try, not just talk about trying, not just scroll through TikToks, watch mediums do their content, but actually practice it myself. So I set the scene like I was about to invite God, Spirit, and Kingston over for tea. The lights were super low, my phone is silenced, the blankets are pulled up just enough to feel safe, but not so much that I'm gonna pass out. And I started to slip into my breathing, doing grounding. Inhale until your ribs creak. Exhale until your brain stops yelling at you about the laundry you didn't do. That's your warm up. I'm laying there breathing deep when my hand starts to twitch like it's got its own TikTok channel. And my right leg, mostly my foot, starts tingling like pins and needles, spreading in sort of waves. Then the goosebumps, they creep all up my left side, and then a cold hand. And then there's this giggle I hear. Not in the room, but in my ear, that place inside your head where imagination and memory come together. A sound that you know doesn't belong to you. The tingling really kept crawling up my right leg, and that's when my stomach dropped because Kingston's right leg was never really the same after his last spinal surgery. He used to wake up complaining about pins and needles there, shaking his foot, trying to get the feeling back. It never really woke up. My body felt sort of hijacked, like the ghost of his nerves were firing through me, if that makes sense. My head actually started to pound, this splitting headache. My migraines come from what feels like an arrow shooting through the base of my skull and out my eyeball. This was not that. It was more like somebody had taken electrodes and jabbed them into each side of my head. I don't usually get headaches on both sides at once. Now, remember, my son passed away from brain cancer. My head, I'm like, is that you, Bubs? I'm not saying I felt possessed by him in any way, shape, or form. I fully believe in God. Let's just be clear on that. I do feel like those feelings in my body were not of my own. I've been learning that you should always ask for confirmation, something so specific so that you don't drift off into this wishful thinking space. Mediums say to ask for something specific later. After you've done your practice, ask for a very specific sign to confirm that what you were feeling was from them. Me, I want that confirmation right now. So I asked for a license plate with the word king on it. I gave Spirit 24 hours to confirm that I'm not crazy. I had been thinking all day, man, I haven't seen one that really says his name. If you scroll back through my stuff, you'll see that I saw them all the time. So I asked for a license plate that says his name. I don't want it on a frame. I don't want it on the bumper sticker. I want it etched right there in the license plate. I even know a car that parks nearby my house where the license plate is literally KING 444. By 2:25, I was in the car to go pick up my daughter from school, scanning every license plate like a madwoman. Nothing, not even the King 444 car was in his usual spot. Fine. I figure maybe I made it all up. Maybe I was just tripping. There were no tingles, and I brushed it off, drove on, went about the rest of my day. Fast forward to 10:45 last night. I'm laying in bed and I'm ready to plug in my phone when I get a text. It's from a friend who also lost her daughter. She's another mom in the club that nobody wants to join. Since we reconnected, we've been able to sort of read signs for one another. Like Spirit uses us to pass notes back and forth. She's on a road trip right now, so I assume that the message that I'm getting is kind of a "we made it" text. I opened it and I see this picture that she took while she was driving from Washington, nonetheless, where I'm from, to Las Vegas, and it's a license plate that says KINGKON. I know, it's supposed to say King Kong, but how close is that to Kingston? I immediately have this memory of taking Kingston to see the movie Godzilla versus King Kong. And he and I used to play. He would be King Kong and I would be Godzilla. I liked the picture. I hearted it. Cute. And I told her the whole story about the King Kong and Godzilla thing. I had actually completely forgotten that I had even asked Kingston to send me the license plate sign to confirm that what I saw and felt in my practice was real. It almost exactly said his name. How close is that to Kingston? So goosebumps go over my whole body, like just a full body shiver. Keep in mind that I'm in Southern California. It's not cold. I had given Spirit 24 hours to send me this license plate saying KING. I didn't get it all day. I even drove around looking for it, could not find it. And then I hear in my head, "Yeah, dummy." My daughter's in bed with me, and turned around and I look at Zuma. I said, "What did you call it?" She said, "I didn't say anything." I said, "You just called me a dummy." She said, "No, I didn't." She looked at me like I had grown a second nose. She swears she didn't say a word. Then it hit me. That voice, it was my son. He was teasing me. He was reminding me, "Hello, like I'm answering your question." Full body goosebumps. I'm like, "Oh my God. Oh my God." I text my friend the whole story and she goes, "You're never going to believe this." I said, "Wait, stop. Don't do anything. Don't say anything." I heard in my head, "Tell her to look for the moth." I text her, "Hey, I just feel like I need to tell you to look for this moth." She goes, "You're never going to believe this." She sends me another picture. I open the picture and it is, I kid you not, a picture of this bright green caterpillar. Before her daughter passed away, her and her daughter had gotten matching tattoos of the Atlas moth. And you will never freaking believe this caterpillar will evolve into the Atlas moth. Her neighbor had taken a picture of the caterpillar in front of their house while she was on her trip. I am literally goosebumps. I'm sweating my ass off. I am going through perimenopause, so goosebumps should not be happening right now. I tell you this story because I gave Spirit 24 hours to confirm that I'm not crazy. I had completely forgotten that I had done that earlier in the day. And I'm gonna cry because it's just so beautiful to know when they tell us that you're never alone, you really never are. They are always right there with you. So if you are not receiving signs, I don't want you to think that you're broken or that other people have this special gift because I'm telling you, everyone can do this. I'm not reading every person I pass on the street, but I do feel like my brain knows who will not judge me. My logical brain knows who will receive what I have to say without making me feel like a crazy person. When I'm around friends whose children have passed who believe in this as deeply as I do, the messages are loud and it happens often. I always thought that it was my ADD brain running wild. If I'm being honest, I really thought that I was hearing voices and that I had some sort of severe mental illness. But I get it now. If you are in a place where you're trying to learn how to connect with your loved one on the other side, I want you to know that it is absolutely possible. You can't make this shit up. Listen, I am not out here pretending that I invented this playbook. I have gone to people like Jennifer Schaefer. Yes, the Jennifer Schaefer, the one that law enforcement calls when they're trying to find missing people, and Monica the medium. Yeah, the one from the reality show, who, by the way, had Kingston come through with her immediately. These women are heavy hitters. They're the ones that you sit across from and you go, okay, fine, you win. I believe in the afterlife now. And you know what they have both told me to my face? You don't need me to connect. You can do this all on your own. At the time, I laughed. I argued. I said, that's cute. But you get entire conversations from Spirit, and I get a random case of the goosebumps and heartburn all at once. That just doesn't feel equal. Because sometimes what they bring through is so detailed and so specific, it can literally knock you over. But here's what they all keep reminding me, that mediumship is just another language. It's not a language that you already know either. It's like trying to speak Mandarin without ever learning the alphabet first. You don't get fluent after one Duolingo session. It literally takes practice. You mispronounce, you fumble, you string together two words and hope that the person on the other end gets the gist and that you have not offended someone. Over time, if you keep at it, you will start to pick up a rhythm, a tone, and a nuance. And that's how connecting with spirit works. And I can say that from experience. Well, if you're sitting there right now and it's going through your head, I don't get signs, so maybe it's not real, or I can't do it, or you're gifted and I'm not true. Let me stop you right there. I was in that exact same headspace for weeks, even recently, after getting signs like this before. Nothing. Radio silence. I felt unplugged, like the universe had literally ghosted me. And then Spirit, because they love us, decided to show me otherwise. One more quick story. A friend of me texted me, hey, why don't you drop by? Totally normal. She just happened to have the day off. No big buildup. On the way over, I don't even know why, but I started talking to her mom, who passed about a month before Kingston did. And let me be clear, this is not something that I would usually do. I do not drive around like Uber for the dead trying to channel 2 or 3 word messages to give to my friends. But the thought popped into my head anyways, that sideways thought that doesn't feel like it came from me. And I said it out loud. All right, so-and-so's mom, anything that you want to tell her. And instantly I got something. It wasn't crisp. It wasn't a sentence. It wasn't a neon flashing light in the sky. It was more like a dust buster in the background, and or even trying to read with your glasses off. But the impression was there. When I walked into her house, before I even sat down, I said, wait, I need to check something with you because I feel like a total weirdo, but I got this fuzzy thing that I think was from your mom, and she wanted me to say something to you, something about you need to talk more, maybe open up, find new people, something about connecting with someone about what's going on, the heavy thoughts in your mind. And she just kind of stared at me. And finally she said, I was going to ask you if you could try to connect with my mom. I wanted to ask her if my new AA sponsor was a safe person to talk to and if it was going to be a good fit. Now, do you see what I mean? That vague, fuzzy impression, the talk more, open up, was basically the answer to the question that she hadn't even asked me yet. It was her mom saying, yes, you can talk to this person. It's safe. It's okay. Listen, I had goosebumps then, and I've got goosebumps right now just telling you the story. Full body, hair standing up. I'm in 80-degree weather, and I'm suddenly freezing. Now, this hadn't happened in a while, so I was doubting myself. And when I'm in a low place, It's just, it's just quiet. It's fuzzy. And that's the thing. Spirit will keep trying. They will never give up on us. You just have to be listening. When I'm talking to someone who already believes in signs in the afterlife, I mean, real live people, my friends, messages come through so much more clear. It's like having a conversation in a quiet coffee shop, just the two of us, instead of trying to yell across an entire football stadium. When the other person that I'm talking to I know is open, the line for me is so much clearer. But if I'm in a group where nobody believes in this stuff or I don't know, I keep my mouth shut and I don't try to think about it. Because the second that I let fear creep in, fear of judgment, fear of sounding crazy, that fear pulls my vibration down like a weighted blanket and the vibration tanks. The messages will not follow. Fear, doubt, insecurity, they are static on that radio. The signal might still be broadcasting, but you're not going to hear it. I'm not sitting here claiming to be an expert, not by any means. I am just sharing the messy middle of my journey. I mean, shit, let's just call it what it is. This is the beginning. What I have learned and what I keep relearning is that the more I calm my mind, the more intentional I am about it, and the more I give thanks, the more grateful I am, the more I chase even hints of joy, the clearer the messages will come through. The signs don't only get louder, they are freaking everywhere. And sometimes, like with my friend and her mom, they just land so directly that it makes even the skeptic in me and the people around me shut the fuck up. So if you've been in that place, feeling like nothing's coming through, don't give up. Keep practicing. Keep asking for specific signs because I promise you, oh, they will answer you. Raise your vibration just a little bit because the connection is there and your loved ones want to talk to you. I am just a grieving mom, someone who's lost their son, who's still raising two kids on this side, who is still trying to figure out how to keep laughing, how to keep learning, and how to keep noticing the ways that love refuses to die. So that's where I will leave you today. A little experiment, a lot of goosebumps, and one major reminder that this connection is so real, even if we doubt it, even if we roll our eyes at ourselves, and if we feel unplugged for weeks at a time. I am just a grieving mom, someone who's lost their son, who's still raising two kids on this side, trying to figure out how to keep laughing, how to keep learning, and how to keep noticing the ways that love refuses to die. If you want to try this for yourself, or if you're tired of wondering whether or not that number on the clock or that random song was a sign, I actually have a tool for you. It is called the You're Not Crazy, You're Connected Grief Journal. It is a downloadable journal where you can actually track what you're feeling, what you're seeing, and start recognizing the patterns for yourself. This is not about me trying to convince you of anything. It is about you practicing and learning to trust yourself and your own connection with the people that you love on the other side. If you liked this, please let me know. Follow me on Facebook. Yes, old people, you can do it too. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, it's all in the description below. Otherwise, I'm just going to start assuming that it's actually just my dead relatives padding my follower count. That's all from me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here, even when it doesn't make sense. And remember, your people, they are always with you, even when you'd probably rather they weren't. Oh, yeah, they see you. Those midnight fridge raids, super awkward dates, even your bathroom breaks. Yes, love indeed does follow you everywhere.